good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just busy, but yeah. How was you back at you must be oh yeah, you are back at Cavanagh. What are you did you do November trials? I haven't looked at the results or anything.
No, if you went to the Olympics, you'd have to do it. If you go to the World Championships or the Olympics, you'd have to go to November trials,
Uh
which is very nice. So
man,
yeah, I didn't
you
do that.
didn't miss it.
No, I did not.
Uh,
Um, no, I was quite happy not doing trials.
what? Yeah, I remember actually when I was because I when I was trying to get into Paris, I was like counting down the amount of Bostons that I had left. And
Yeah,
like 2022, I was like, this is my fifth last Boston, and then I'm done.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I did think last time was it even Boston Trials in February? I don't know. Last time I did trials, I was like, this is the last time I'm ever gonna have to do it, and I'm back. So,
you're back. Yeah,
or
cool.
my last time that I'm ever gonna have to do it, like not by choice, like as in like like I have a choice. I mean, I have a choice then, but
Yeah.
um,
Oh, what do you feel like now is more like a kind of you want to do it? It's more of a
yeah,
decision. Oh,
it's more
cool.
on my terms, I would say, because
Oh,
I feel
cool.
like now I'm doing it to see whether I can do it again. Whereas before I would have done anything to get there. Now I've done it and
Yeah.
it will just be really nice to do it again and like really cool. So yeah, I do feel like it's weird because it was a choice before, it's always a
Yeah.
choice, but it does feel like more of a choice now.
Yeah.
I-
It's kind of like you're not answering the question of like, can I do it or not? I guess exactly like you said there. Yeah. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It's
Interesting. Yeah. I know when I was trying to get into Paris, I was like, I always said to Pauline, my wife, I was like, there's no way I would do it ever. If I got there, no way I would ever do it anymore. And she was always looking at me like, I don't know, I know what you're like. So
yeah, I was unsure what I was gonna do. But when I was stood on the podium with my medal and stuff, I was
oh
like,
yeah.
I've got to do this again.
Oh really? Was that the kind of main thought
Yeah.
going through your head then in that moment?
Yeah, just the Olympics was so it was like the best thing ever. And I just was like, I just need to do this again because it was just so cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so yeah, here we are, back at training.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Welcome everybody to the Edge Rowing Podcast. I'm here today with Georgie Brayshaw, Olympic gold medalist recently from Paris in the women's quads, and current GB rowing team member going for another Olympics. So, um, I trained with Georgie for a little bit when I was there. We never really spoke, I guess, as we were just saying, but I saw that video as well in the times where you're talking about your story. So even more so than like getting to the Olympics and winning gold, there's your personal story, which I think there's just must be so much value in, and I'm excited to hear more about it, Georgie.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Ask away, ask anything.
Okay, cool. Yeah. What was how did you first get started in rowing, Georgie?
So I got started in rowing like a lot later than the normal rowing the
Yeah.
normal people on the team do. So I didn't row growing up or anything like that. I was really into horses. And then I went to the University of Northampton in my first year. I tried so many things, but just nothing clicked, and I didn't try rowing. And then in my second year, I still didn't really have a hobby, and I'd given up horses before I went to uni. And my dad actually suggested to me, he's like, you've got really long arms to kind of run in the family. He's never tried rowing, and I'm not from a sporty family. But he was like, I always kind of thought about it, I just never did it. So I signed up for the rowing club at Northampton Uni. And it was just a really good group of friends. Didn't take it very seriously. I did notice I was like, the coach for the club at the time was like, you could be quite good. So I tried out for the GB Start program, was unsuccessful and didn't get on the
Oh,
program.
really?
So that was
How does
that.
that what were the kind of thought processes there? How did you feel after
When I
that?
didn't get on,
Yeah.
um, it was just I didn't really think about it too. It was like, annoying because I don't like not being accepted on something, but I was like, oh right, okay, well that's that. Like a bit upset, but move on, sort of thing.
Brush it off.
And then I went back to uni and just had like a really good time with my friends, and it was just really fun. And it was more of just a friendship group. It was just a really good group to be part of. And then in my third year, my mum had a stroke, so I kind of stopped rowing and went back home, and I kind of looked after her, and my mum was my main priority in her health. So I didn't do much rowing my third year and kind of just quit. And then when I finished uni, I didn't have a hobby because I wasn't in horses anymore. Hadn't really found anything that really stuck. So I went down to my local rowing club in Leeds, and just signed up as a novice there and
Right.
just started giving rowing a go again.
Was there any element of, I don't know, like maybe someone being like, oh, you can't, you don't have potential or something like that with the GB Start program, and anyways initially I don't know, or like was there any kind of like little voice inside your head that was maybe saying like, oh, let's keep going, like, or was it just maybe more natural, sort of like you just enjoyed doing it?
Um, yeah, I think I just kind of enjoyed doing it, and it was something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd found a really good group of friends at the rowing club at uni, so I just went to Leeds, joined there as a novice. Yeah, and I kind of did think, oh, maybe I won't be international level like GB standard, but I am. I knew I would could be okay at
Yeah, okay.
it. And I kind of at that level, I didn't even think about being in it. Like rowing for Leeds would be amazing, like being
Yeah,
in
yeah,
GB
yeah.
row wasn't even like anywhere in my sights or anything. And then I found that I was actually quite like pretty decent on the row machine, so I tried out for start again.
What were you pulling on the
And the
rowing
second
machine?
time I tried, what was I doing on the row machine? I have no idea, but it was better than other people.
There we
Probably,
go.
I
That's
think
all it
my
needs to be.
my first 2K I think was 7:19 or something, I think.
Pretty good.
So it was quite good as like a beginner. Yeah, so I
I
tried
did
out for
my
stuff.
first my first 2K was on just row. I just hit the menu button as soon as I
Oh,
as soon as
really?
I dropped it, and then I put it into Google or Reddit or something like that. So I was like, oh, it's all right, it's all right.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
okay, okay.
yeah, and then I tried out for start again, was successful, and that was 10 years ago, and I've trained full time ever since. Yeah.
The end, and then you got a gold medal at the end, and that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Gold medal, mic drop, the end. Bye.
Bish bosh.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, yeah, there must be a lot like in that journey then, and especially I thought that was really interesting that you didn't get in the first time, and then the second time you did, which is cool. Um, as well. So like again, like look as well, we can edit this out as well if you don't want to like talk about it. But the horse accident, was that before
Yeah.
you started rowing? You
Yeah, it
kind of wanting
was.
to leave that or just like do a
No, no,
bit more about
I'm fine talking about it. I'm fine now.
Okay.
So honestly, it doesn't ask me anything about it. I don't really. It's
Okay. Okay.
a
Cool. Yeah. I didn't know. I just
life
because I knew.
event.
And then, okay.
No,
So
no.
like, yeah, you had fallen off your horse when what you were like 15 or 16 or something, and were like in a
Yeah.
coma.
So I was like horse mad growing up.
Yeah.
My mum and dad bought me like a block of 4 horse riding lessons as a present when I was 7. And it just turned into me then getting a horse full time and stuff. And yeah, I was
Yeah.
absolutely horse mad growing up. And then one day when I was 15,
What? Hold on a second. Like, what did you enjoy about horse riding? Like, what do you like about it?
I just love animals. I still love animals. And having like a
What's your
little
favorite
pal and
animal?
um
Horse.
dogs, horses. My mum and dad got a sheep now that I love any animal. I just absolutely adore. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I just love animals, and yeah, I just love having horses. I had my friends there. It was really nice. You go out with your horse. Your horse was your friend. It was great.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I just really liked it. Not to be an international horse rider or anything like that. It was just a hobby.
You just enjoyed
Um,
it.
to go for a ride out with my friends on a weekend and stuff like that. And yeah, I just had really good friends there. And then when I was 15, I was out riding with my friends, and we were galloping through a field. And there was a tarmac road through in the middle of the field, and horses can't um, gallop over a tarmac road because they've got shoes on.
Okay.
So everyone was pulling their horses back to trot or walk to go over the road, but my horse was being a bit silly, and I don't remember this, but I have been told that I was trying to slow him down, and I pulled on his rein, and he turned just as we got to the road and fell over with me on top. Um, and yeah, I don't remember any of this, but airlifted off to hospital and then left in a coma for 9 days and then paralyzed on my left hand side when I woke up.
Oh
So
my God. Yeah.
yeah, it was a bit traumatic, but I'm still here. So
Wow.
yeah. Um and yeah, and my
If
mum and
you could
dad.
look back, I don't know, like maybe like right now with an Olympic gold medal, like what would you think? What would you think looking back if you told that, you just came out of a coma, you told yourself sitting there with your left arm paralyzed, like what would you kind of be thinking? That's crazy to me.
um it wasn't even in my brain that this could ever happen. So I just don't even think I believe it. Like, I always say when I was growing up, I was never a particularly sporty person. I liked horse riding just because I like brushing horses and riding horses and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but just as a hobby. And I used to, if the Olympics was on or there was some sport on TV on, I used to like vaguely watch it, but think not be really interested because I think those people
Right.
are superhuman. I could never do that. They're like born different.
Ah.
That's not something I would ever think about doing.
Do you
Uh,
think if you thought, I don't know, like, do you think if you thought you could do it, that you would want to do it?
yeah, probably because I'm the sort of person that whatever I put my mind to, like, I will, try and make happen. So if
Yeah.
I do something, I'll do it, which can be rather
Okay.
annoying. It's an expensive pair of shoes or something. If I want that pair of shoes, I'll go and buy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Um,
So, like, would
so
you
yeah.
say anything now, like, to that person when you were younger? And I guess you maybe didn't have that interest. Maybe part of that reason was because you didn't think you could do it. Would you say anything? I always like this question, but would you say anything to yourself back then to encourage yourself maybe to, I don't know, like a belief thing or like that you should maybe start rowing now or whatever? Like, I don't know. Would you?
Um, Not particularly. I mean, yeah, rowing. But I mean, not particularly about rowing. I think I honestly think through my journey, I think I've kind of proved it that anyone can do anything if they set their mind to it and are willing to work hard. So even if it's like a totally different sport, a musical instrument, a subject that you like at school, if you put the work in and you are willing to work hard and make a lot of sacrifices, then you can like get to the top. You could be a top, I don't know, flautist or guitar player or be in a band, like it just takes
Or
a
an
lot of
online
hard
rowing
work.
coach?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, so I think I just with anything, like even, if I got a bad test result at school or whatever and I was a bit down, just like keep
Okay.
working hard because you'll get there eventually and and
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
it's just crazy how life's turned out. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, because you've got a very like I think relaxed, like kind of calm way of talking about it, which is interesting. I wanna understand a little bit more about like what you were what you were doing specifically to yeah, I mean one like recover from the accident and then all the ups and downs with your mom and everything and going through all of that. So there's definitely you definitely have an incredible skill set for um yeah, going through these sorts of challenges. So into back up, fast forward then to rowing when you got back into start. So
Yeah.
when do you think was the start of you being like, right, I'm gonna, because you mentioned before, I don't know if I can believe, I don't know if I think I can do this. When
Yeah.
was there any change or anything like that? You said maybe, oh, maybe I can do it now.
Um, yeah, so Hamish Burrell, he
Yeah.
put me on start and he always like believed in me and he always used to be like, you can do this. Uh,
Yeah.
and he really helped me get me started on my journey because he just said to me, there's something special about you. And yeah, and then it was proving the coach wrong that didn't put me on start the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's the best. I love that.
Not
See,
not
my cousin
naming
told me
any
in first.
names.
Yeah, yeah. No, no worries. No, I don't know who it is. So, but my cousin in university, in first year of university, he said that Jack, there's no way that you're ever going to finish this degree. And to be honest, there's a couple of times I probably would have dropped out, but if it wasn't for him saying that,
Yeah.
I probably,
And and then
yeah,
like other people that weren't as supportive, be it other people on start or
yeah,
like teammates or like um even family not my mum and dad, but family members or friends that's like, why are you doing this?
yeah.
What's the point in that? That just really eggs me on to actually do it and to prove people wrong. And now I can turn around and say, I was doing it because I knew I could be Olympic champion, and look
Yeah.
at you now wanting to be friends with me.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. And then because as well, you were start. You were kind of like starting your rowing journey. You must have been like what, 21, 22, 23 or something.
Yeah. 20, I think I got on start when I was 22. I just turned 22.
Yeah.
So
So at that point when it's kind of like, right, get a life, kind of get a job, like
yes.
stop splashing
Yeah.
about and about.
Um yeah, it was quite a big stab in the dark when I did start rowing because yeah, I just finished uni. Normally people would get a job or something like
Yeah.
that. And I was going to my mum and dad and being like, can I start rowing, please? And can you pay for everything for me? And can you buy me a car? Can I live at home? And I have three, like, as I say, I'm not from a sporty family. So I've got three very successful brothers that are doctors, got a PhD, I've got a twin who,
Oh yeah.
works in a really successful bar. And yeah, so it was like something totally different, a massive stab in the dark. But also, my mum had a stroke at 53, 52, something like that. I had a horse riding accident that, could have been really bad.
Yeah.
The prognosis when that my mum and dad first got was she'll never walk again. She won't feed
Wow.
herself again. This is really bad. And it kind of showed me that you just got to do it. I can only be a rower now. Like
Wow.
in 10 years time I'll be too old and my body won't take it. I can only do it
Yeah.
now. And also you're you'll be working for a very long time. I've
Yes.
got a very long time to make a pension and to
Yes.
stuff like that.
I
So
just got
just
goosebumps there. I've got goosebumps right now. I like
yeah,
that.
I'm,
I love that stuff.
I'm just very much in the like YOLO. It's very cliche, but like um
Yeah.
I've just known a lot of things that could go wrong, and so just make the best of life when it comes. And at the moment this is like
Mhm.
the most epic life, so I hope I'm making the
Awesome.
best of
I
life.
love I love hearing, yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing about it from that perspective. I think one thing for me, when I was trying to get in, I remember I wasn't quite seeing the success I wanted to. I wasn't showing the progress I wanted to. I was like 25 or something like that. And I was
Yeah.
thinking, all right, maybe I should get a real job and like get a life. And again, I was, yeah, like my dad and stuff like that supported me. I was living basically at his home and coaching part-time and stuff. And um it was a Christmas dinner, and it was kind of our friends who are maybe like 4 or 5 years older than all of us. And they were all just complaining about like going back to work. Oh, when are you going back to work? Oh, the 2nd of Jan. Oh, I'm going back on the 10th. Oh, I'm so jealous. And I get it, like, it comes from a position of privilege that you're able to go after these things. But in that situation, I was like, I've got an opportunity here. And like, what am I in such a rush to go and like get
Yeah.
get to one of these jobs? So
Yeah, my dad always says that. He's like, you'll be working for a very long time. And by the time that we get to retirement age, it'll be even older, it'll be 70. And he's like, you've got a lot of time to make up a pension and stuff like that. And yeah, just enjoy it. I'm also excited for the next stage of life, but while I've got
yeah,
this stage of life, I'm just gonna enjoy it and just take things.
absolutely.
I think uh, um after my accident particularly, I was in a rush to get back to the same level as my peers. So I went back to school
Okay.
very quickly, probably too quickly.
Oh,
Then I was
really?
offered to kind of resit the year so it'll be year 10. But no, 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 I want to stay with my friends. Then I was offered to like just press pause on A levels and like just get stuff together and resit A levels, or hold back a couple of years. Oh no, no, I want to go to uni. No gap year, wanted to go straight to uni, and I just kind of rushed it all a bit when I
Right.
didn't have to. And so now I'm really trying to just take a step, enjoy what I'm doing, and other things will come in the future, but just enjoy that time and that I'm in now. Because also like very like philosophical and deep, but tomorrow is never a given, so like just enjoy what
Wow.
you're doing now, because you don't know what's around the corner. So yeah, deep.
That is, I love that stuff. I
Yeah.
love talking about that stuff. Anytime I'm on a night out as well, that's normally where the conversation ends up
Yeah.
going. I've had a few
Yeah.
drinks as well. I was like, yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, wow. So those life experiences then formed a lot of your values, and then okay, so I guess it helped you looking at the positives, and again, which is awesome to hear you talking about what it did for you. which is obviously something super like traumatic in a lot of ways. Um, like what is there did it is that the main way it kind of helped you moving forward? Do you think that was maybe was there anything specifically that kind of helped you with your training in terms of like getting training done to a higher quality or focusing more? Because it's not just about, staying in this staying in your rowing career and continuing going. It's about like how do you take that focus to the next level? So like where does that discipline and everything come from? If
Um,
that's a quite a long-winded question, but
where does the discipline for rowing come from?
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just my life now. I've just really got into it, and I think I really like routine. I really like the structure. Um, so yeah, I just really enjoy it, and yeah, I don't know where it's come from, to be honest. It's just part of me now. It's just
Yeah,
I just really like it. I like knowing what I'm doing and the targets that I've got and being pushed and things like that. It's just inbuilt, and I don't know where that's come from. I know that when I'm in pain in a test or I'm in a race or whatever, I always say to myself, nothing will be as hard as like coming out of a coma paralyzed, blah blah blah. But
oh really?
me hitting that ground, I'm sure off when my horse fell over, it probably hurt more than doing a 2K, and I've managed to get through that. So if I can do that, then I can do this 2K. I quite often think that to myself when things are getting tough.
Really? That's
Yeah.
that's what some okay, interesting. Okay. So how did you go from kind of coming into the START program, which again, we spoke about it for those who don't know, it's a talent ID thing where they like measure your height and arm span and like power and general fitness and see if they can fast track you into the GB team. So, um, how did like what did that process look like of you getting selected, coming in late starter, maybe overlooked a little bit? Like what do you think you started to do and change that moved you up through the rankings?
I think my biggest thing was the fact that I'm quite quick on the row machine on the ergo. So I think that really helped, but also so that helped propel me into kind of the top of the start program. But
Yeah.
then because I'd never been a junior or had the opportunity to row as a junior and make all the mistakes that juniors made, but then had this really big ergo, to me it felt like people expected quite a lot of me quite quickly.
Oh, really?
And that was really hard. And I like remember doing loads of races in my single and I just wasn't prepared for it. And it scared the life out of me. And that was really awful. But I still never gave up. So yeah, I think having a big ergo was really good because that propelled me onto GB Start and
Yeah.
strong and things. But yeah,
What was your erg around then?
I think I broke 7 minutes pretty quickly. And then it was just like bringing it down from there and yeah.
I keep asking because I know people love to hear it. Okay. So techni technically wise, maybe it or was it maybe that distraction of the pressures? Do you think that was kind of like holding you back a little bit from getting like I want to know like what did you change? What did you get better at yourself as a rower from GB start second time with a good erg through to getting selected into the GB team?
Um, Technically wise, I've never been the most technical rower in the world. But I've learned I am improving and I've learned to work with a crew. Um, yeah, I just think I kept working on my fitness in the gym and, my strength, and then the technical side of my rowing has just come over time. I'm still not the prettiest of rowers, but I found a way that works for me that can be fairly quick. So, um, yeah.
Okay, what are you working on right now in the boat?
What am I working on right now? Keeping my body over at the catch.
Or
Uh,
do you open your back too early?
yeah, well, I was really good at keeping my body over at the catch, and then being in the quad and kind of melding with lots of other people. It
Oh
didn't go
yeah.
so well, and now I need to like get it back again. um,
Okay.
so
What do you, any drills? Any drills you're doing to help that?
um, no, not really. I'm not very good at drills. I kind of just try to row and just think about these things.
Yeah,
But I
fair
would
enough.
say obviously like 6 inches from the front and like half side,
Yeah.
legs only and stuff really help. But I'm just not very good at drills, so I try to avoid them as much as I can.
A good strategy.
yeah, yeah, I'm not the most confident with drills, so I leave that for other people to do.
Fair enough. Okay. And so you worked with Hamish Burrell. He
Yeah,
was, I mean, so that maybe lines up a little because he had the rep. He's got quite a few people into the GB team through
yeah,
start. He maybe has that reputation of
yeah,
that technically his that's not what has got his scholars in, but it was more the kind of fitness and the erg scores and stuff.
yeah. He can probably see, um, you know, talent that hasn't matured yet. Raw,
Yeah.
um, which is really good. He left start quite quickly after I started actually to then move down to Caversham to coach
Yeah.
TB. But for the short time that I knew him, he was always like, "You can do this." Always really supportive of me. And then when I eventually did move to Caversham, he was still there, and he was always like, "Georgie, I know you've got something." And so even through like I was in and out of Caversham quite a few times,
Oh
and
yeah.
went to trials and
When was your first time kind of getting a taste of it?
20 2018, 2019, something like
Yeah, yeah.
that. I did a World Cup in I think 2019, and I'd been in it a couple of times before then, I think. So I've been in and out of Caversham a few times. But Hamish always told me, he's like, "You've got something." And he was always like, he really supported me and gave me the confidence to keep coming back and knocking on the door and keep coming back, and I'm back again. uh,
Yeah.
it wasn't quite a you're on the team. It was a backwards and forwards a bit, between Leander and Caversham, which was hard at the time. And I've spent many times driving from Caversham to Henley in tears and stuff like that.
Oh
But
yeah.
um, yeah,
Can you share like I don't know like what were if it's all right like what were
yeah.
some of the disappointments that you kind of like what were some of the hardest setbacks that you had?
Just like not doing well at seat racing, so then not carrying on with crew boats, or trials haven't gone too well. It was usually water related things. Um, yeah, I don't know, and then being like, "You're not quite ready yet. You need to go away again," or
Yeah.
yeah,
Was there
just
ever a kind of I guess it is as well like the normal path, isn't it? It's like do juniors at GB and then under 23 at GB and then go and do a couple years at like Leander or something like that or
yeah.
whatever and then get in. So at that point you were kind of did you still have that belief that you could get in or you kind of I don't know like on the fence a little bit or was it Hamish that was mainly kind of encouraging you?
I don't know. I just kept going. I honestly don't know how I kept going. I just did. It just I'd go back to Leander, and then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're doing really well," and I'd be quite good there, and I don't know how I'm here, to be honest. I don't know what I did. It's not very helpful.
Yeah.
Uh, it just kind of happened, and yeah, I just never gave up. And I had conversations with like Debbie Flood. She was a mentor at Leander, being like,
Oh, cool.
my biggest thing was I don't want to be seen as a quitter. In fact, that was a
Right.
massive thing. I
Oh
never
yeah.
want to be seen as a quitter. And I never wanted to quit rowing without making something of it, because I didn't want people to be like, "Ha, I knew you couldn't do it."
Yeah.
I remember speaking to Debbie Flood, like when I was at a point at Leander where I was like, "Oh, do I carry on? Do I not?" And a really hard time. And she was like, "Well, like do what you want. You shouldn't give up because you're really good." But she always said to me like, "It's better to have tried, and people will be impressed that you even tried, because not many people would even try do this." And
Hmm.
to have not quite made it, but she was like, "You've made it very far anyway, but to have not quite made it than to never have tried at all," which is what most people do.
Yeah. And
Uh,
then point at other people and try and make them feel bad.
yeah. So yeah, that was something I just didn't want. I wanted to prove people wrong, and like I didn't want people telling me that I was a quitter or that I told you so.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. For me, my motivation was always I just wanted to look back and genuinely be able to say I did absolutely everything I could
Yeah,
and I got to my best and it was what it was. And if my best wasn't good enough, then I can sit. I just didn't want to be sitting in a pub in 40 years being like, oh, what if, like maybe if
yeah,
I, one
definitely.
more year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. What did any kind of big lessons at Debbie Flood? So what she is former Olympic medalist, was she?
Yeah, a silver
Silver in
medalist.
Beijing, was it?
Yeah, I don't know what years in
I
the
think
quad thing.
maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Debbie was great. She really helped me at Leander. She was just a great mentor, someone to talk to. One of the main lessons that she taught me was, yeah, like never be ashamed if you do quit, because you've done something amazing and that not many people would do.
Mm.
But she was always there for like a chat and things, and she's just a great lady to know. And um, yeah, she's just lovely. She just helped me through a lot of hard times at Leander. So.
Are you doing any mentoring kind of similar to what Debbie was doing? Or
Yeah, like I have chatted to a few rows at Leander, but not specifically really. Um, I have, I will sign up to some, but I've just been so busy with
yeah,
the Olympics that I just don't have time to think about
or
anything.
do podcasts?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've done some podcasts
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you,
Um,
by the way, for coming on.
no, that's all right. Yeah, I've just been like mega busy, and now I'm working 3 days in a school as
How
well,
are you?
training. So, yeah, just mega busy. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'd like to get to where you're at right now. But
Yeah.
first off, that little thing about the Olympic gold medal. Um, how was yeah, like talk me through that journey of okay, you got into the GB team. Good erg, maybe technically progressing. Um, how did you go about getting yourself selected into the quad for Paris?
So Andrew came in, he's the head coach, Andrew Randall. He came in 2022 or 2021, just after Tokyo
Yeah,
Olympics. So probably
that's right.
2022.
You
Uh,
guys were doing some mad volume, weren't you?
yes. Well, Andrew came and gave us this new training program, and I genuinely thought he was here to kill us. I was like, oh my God, he's not humanly. Does he think we are robots? We are humans, like human rights. You don't have
Yeah.
many as a rower, but come
You're not
on.
an employee, are you?
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
we have no rights, but we're not robots. So, and we really really struggled on his program in the first year.
Well, I
Um,
never forget when he and you guys we so in the men's squad we be 16K inside for warm breakfast, weights for an hour and a half second, and then maybe a 12 or another 16K org in the
yeah,
afternoon in the nice warm gym, shower, go home. And you guys were what you're going down to like the river or something like that,
yeah,
like
Longridge, yeah,
yeah, and doing. I think the first session I heard that you guys were doing. So I'll say it. You might get in trouble. I don't know if you should, so I can say it. But it was like 15K rate 20 hard, 15K rate 22 hard, and then like 15K rate 24 hard back
yeah,
to back, like eating meal deals in the car in between sessions.
yeah. It was bad times.
But
Uh,
then what I don't forget, well, I won't forget, is the you guys came out of the erg room and someone was just like, everybody's like PB'd, like everyone or something.
yeah, yeah. His program was absolutely crazy, but it like makes you so good and so fit. And yeah, it was really hard. The first time that I got belief in his program was in at the World Championships or in all the World Cups and the World Championships in 2022 because it was my first season racing internationally and I was in the
Hmm.
quad. I'd seat raced into the quad, which was great. And we became European champions. We won some silver medals at World Cups. We were bronze medalists at the World Championships. And I was like, wow, this program actually does produce results, which is really cool. Um, so yeah, Andrew's program is really tough, but and especially now that I've become Olympic champion off it, like who'd have thought? I'm like, fair enough, his program does actually work, so I will do the program. I might
How
not
was
like it,
that?
but
I just maybe, um, how did you stick with it when you were doing the program, but you hadn't seen the results yet? Because I'm guessing, maybe some people listening are going into a new program and maybe they're a little bit like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work for me. How did you go about kind of staying consistent with that?
you just got to trust the program. There's no point quitting it before you've seen any results. So you may as well at least do a year. And had
Right.
we had awful results in 2022, then yeah, maybe I'd question it. But we didn't. We had great results. The best results. Well, it was my first season racing, but the best results that I think the women's squad has seen for a while,
It was a huge jump as well, wasn't it, from the
Yeah.
Olympics to that 2022 season?
Um, yeah, so like just stick with it because there's no point quitting now. You may as well at least see it out and just see what happens. And yeah, also we're doing it as a squad together. We were all in the hole together, and so it kind of made it a little like 1% funny. Um,
Yeah.
and also I really enjoyed the squad. The squad just made it
Oh
like
yeah.
such a supportive group of women, and we're all doing it together. Everyone was like cheering you on. Everyone was, I know it's hard, but we can do it. We'll do it together, and we'll go slow together because we're so tired. And yeah, just a really supportive group of women. Then it was
That's
kind of
nice.
you didn't want to quit because it was fun to do it with it. It was hard, but it was fun to do it with the women.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The way I described it when I was there, because the men's squad was found it similar, where it was just fun. I was like, it was like going to school, but it was PE for 3 classes, and you'd have PE for a session, and then you'd have lunch, and then you'd have PE second session, and then you'd have like another lunch, and then you'd have PE, and it was like with 30 of like your friends. It was kind of,
yeah,
that's the way I
yeah.
described it.
It's not the real world. It is with literally 30 of your friends, which
Yeah.
is really nice and very lucky to be able to do it.
Well, you earned it as well, yeah. But that's what Sam Townsend said to me. He mentioned me a little bit when I came in. He was like, soak it in because you'll never be in a room where you're surrounded by so many people who are so focused on one thing ever again and care so much about one thing. He said that
yeah,
from his opinion was the most rare thing about it.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's just a really cool place to be, and it can be really tough and really competitive, and you're like, "Ugh, I can't bother with this." But yeah, everyone's really like everyone's my friend, and great chats over breakfast and lunch. So it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, good stuff. Eating the meal deals in the cars.
Yeah, well, not anymore. Thankfully, we don't go to Longridge anymore.
Oh, do you not anymore?
No,
Lots of spinning at Caversham then.
yeah, the contract or something is finished, so we
Oh.
don't go to Longridge anymore. Thank God. I'll burn that contract so they can't find it again.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll find a way.
No,
Um,
honestly, I refuse.
yeah. Wow, okay, okay. So, okay. So how did you maybe like I would like to hear a little bit about Paris.
Mhm.
But maybe like what do you think was the hardest thing that you had to do or the biggest challenge that you had to do to put yourself in a position to win gold? What was, yeah, were there any moments that stand out for you?
Um, the hardest session we ever did in the lead up to Paris.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Any maybe it's like the hardest seat race or the most stressful selection process or whatever. But yeah, hardest session as well.
I think
Anything that stands out.
the hardest seat race, but also they weren't hard because in 2022, as I say, it was my first season of like properly being on the team and seat racing.
Hmm.
And also Andrew kind of, if it can be fun, kind of made it fun. I actually quite enjoyed the seat racing because
Really?
he does seat racing like back to back. So you swap on the landing stage and go out again and do another run. And there's no like hour, like 55 minutes of waiting before
Yeah.
you can, that's awful. And it's done really quickly. So I actually kind of find it fun. And then we got selected in the quad in 2022 and then won bronze. So that kind of made it a bit easier in the following years. And then in
Okay.
2023, I was world champions.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that made it then easier to get selected for the Olympics. So I
Yeah.
never found seat racing too daunting. And, and I actually do quite enjoy Andrew's method of seat racing. It's fun and you do your best and that's all you can do. Um the hardest session I did leading up to Paris though was definitely Andrew's ergs. Some of the ergos that he made us do and
Can you
it's
share?
no, I can't share them.
Oh, come
But
on.
they're
Boo.
awful.
Everybody dislike this video to show Georgie how
think
much. Yeah, I know.
think
You're signed a contract. It's fine.
um think of what do you call it? Um that very
So
popular
instead of
thing.
maybe a 3 by 2K, you could say 2.9 by 2.1K or something. Yeah,
Think
sure.
of what's that really popular thing at the moment that has eggs in it? That sport.
Oh,
I
High
can't,
Rocks.
well, something that's very high interval, high intense, very
I think it's High Rocks.
short interval sort of things where people just do crazy things, and then
And then they throw the ball up on the wall and stuff like that, and they run around.
yeah,
Get
but
really good photos.
on the row machine, like very like intensive ergos for, with not much break, and we're all being sick and dying after it and stuff. But that is what I thought of in the last 100 meters of the race. Like, if I can do that, then I can do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. He calls them, well, they're called hit ergos, and they're just like 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off times 200.
maybe.
Maybe.
Hypothetically or something.
Hypothetically, it's that, but
Yeah.
yeah, like just really hard. So.
Okay. Right. So Paris then. You won. I was yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, it's just the most incredible thing that's ever happened to me or I've ever done in my life. It is just like,
Were you guys going in pretty confident, or was there kind of a lot of external
um,
pressure because you were reigning world champions?
yeah, there was quite a lot of pressure because yeah, we're world champions, and so we were the favourites to win, which does make it quite hard because everyone's watching you. In 2022, it was let's see, women's quad. Let's see what the British quad can do. So there was no pressure. 2023, oh, we've won a bronze medal. Let's see if we can match it or do better, but still not loads of pressure. We want to be world champions, and we knew
Yeah.
we could do it, but we just went to see what we could do, and qualify was the main thing. And then the Olympics, having been world champions, um, and then wanted to do it again. It was the Olympics. There was
It
quite a
doesn't
lot.
suit your story. You're kind of the underdog being doubted. It would have
Yeah.
been nice if they're like they're never gonna win gold if someone said
Well,
that.
then all of a sudden we were the favourites, and that was quite hard to deal with. But I mean, we got through it, and as a team, Hannah, Lola, Lauren, all really good at like calming me down, calming each other down, giving each other advice, and
Yeah.
those three have like done a lot of under 23 and junior rowing as well, so they have a lot more rowing experience than me and racing experience. So listening to them and how they deal with nerves.
What would be their advice for you?
Just that you can do it. Andrew's advice is, we train so hard, we do so many 2Ks. That piece of water at the Olympics is no different to any other water around the
It's just
world.
as wet,
It's just as wet,
just as
yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. So like you've done it before, so you can do it again. Just, why is something going to go wrong this time at the Olympics? It's not, well, hopefully not, but you've got no more chance than anywhere else it going wrong.
Mhm.
And that like really calmed me down. And
What do you think if they were bringing that experience to the crew? What were you trying to bring to the crew?
just the power.
The juice.
And my I like to think I've got good separation in my separation in the
Yeah.
and a clear rhythm to follow, a big rhythm. But yeah, mainly power. Bring
Awesome.
the gas.
Pull hard, simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, like what was it? Maybe any point in that race where you started to think you've got it? Like,
No,
yeah.
not at all. No.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot as well because you guys rode through them on the
Yeah,
line. I forgot that's
we
how you
were.
got the.
So at the World Championships, we were last out the start as well. And then we started moving through people, and it was a bit of a fight with the Dutch for the whole way, but we got through them. Maybe I can't remember exactly, but maybe 250 meters to go. We got through them, and we were like clear. And then in Paris, we were behind, and then we were still behind, and then we started
Yeah.
moving through everyone else and got ahead of the Chinese. Great. But we could just not get through the Dutch. And I remember Lola saying in my ear at about 12:50 gone, the Dutch are ahead, but we can do this. Like don't panic. And then we get
But
to
it was not that clear though, I'm guessing. That's your head.
No, they're very good. So we had a bit of a
Oh,
system. So Lauren would look out the boat and Hannah a little bit, but more so Lauren, and tell Hannah
right.
where other crews were. Then Hannah
Okay.
would say something, but because it was so loud, and it was really good at like going through the race plan in races very well.
Yeah.
But because I couldn't hear Hannah because it was so loud in Paris, then Lola would then repeat it to me. So we'd like
Okay.
practice this like bit of message going down the boat. But yeah, she said that to me, and really calm, just said like the Dutch are ahead, but we're fine, we can do this. And anyway, so I was like, okay, carry on with the plan, yeah, carrying on. And then about 200 meters to go, Lauren just said, the Dutch are dying, we can do this.
Yeah.
And that was literally like I was already in an absolute hole, but I was like, I can dig deeper. Like I have to. It's now or never.
Did you think about the accident then?
No, not really.
Yeah.
there was it was just literally like just think of that hitter go. I can go hot, like
Yeah.
just give it absolutely everything that I've got left in me. Just give it
So
everything.
that hit erg is harder than falling off a horse and being put into a coma and being
Yeah,
paralyzed.
honestly, in that time when I'm doing the hit erg or the last 200 meters of a race, I don't think I have room in my mind to think of anything else.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's
think about
true.
not catching a crab.
Yeah, fair. Okay, okay. And then yeah, we were just chatting before on the podium and you were like, yeah, like talk us like you were like, I have to do this again.
Yeah, it's just the whole experience was so cool. But yeah, on the podium, the biggest thing for me that I absolutely loved was the crowds. The crowds were incredible. Like we were walking onto the podium and we'd like wave at the crowd and the whole crowd would erupt. And then like a few seconds later you'd like wave at them again and it'd erupt again. And I was like, oh my God, all these people
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
the crowd was just insane. It was just incredible. And then yeah, we had our medals given to us, awarded to us by Princess Anne, which was so cool, and it was just so surreal. And my mum and dad and my fiance Ashley and his family and my brother and his wife, they were all there, and they were like just how proud they were.
Wow.
Like, um, I just made it, and it was just so cool, and it was cool for everyone. And like, why would I not want to live that again? It was just the best thing I've ever done. And just the Olympics as a whole is just incredible. Um, so yeah, I just stood on the podium and winning gold made it a little bit, even more nicer. But I just was like, I've got to do this again. And I think in LA it's going to be even bigger. So um, yeah, I'm just excited for that. Fingers
Awesome.
crossed
And
again.
then yeah, we might include that bit that we had at the start. We'll run it by you, but we were chatting just about like what's changed in your motivation going for the second Olympics.
um, Yeah, so now I feel like I've won gold, and so I don't have to do it to prove anything now. Now I'm doing it because I want to do it, and I have a choice to do it or not. But
Yeah.
I want to do it now, so it's now for enjoyment and the fact that it's
Mm,
really fun. It's not because I feel like I have to do it to prove people wrong and to prove people
yeah,
I'm not a quitter and that I can do something. Um,
that's
I've proven
interesting.
everything. I don't need to prove anything else. I'm European champion, world champion, and Olympic champion. There's nothing more to prove. I can now just do it because I want to be there. So yeah, it's quite nice to think that. And I
Did
think that
you?
gives me more motivation actually as well. Um, it is my choice to do it now, so I can
Yeah,
enjoy it.
cool. That's so cool. I don't know that this is important at all, but did you get any moments where you're kind of maybe around one or two people where they said, I don't think you can do that, and then you kind of were around them with the gold medal or something like that, and you could be like, haha.
Um, yeah, yeah, many people.
Yeah, yeah. Just because you
uh,
mentioned a few times about proving one or two people wrong, and it's particularly something that resonates with me. So I don't know if you just kind of, I don't know, I think that would have been a good feeling in some ways.
yeah, it's a very good feeling. There's like, yeah, some people that have just been like, Darren, uh,
Uh, could you see a
people,
look in their eye where they're like, "Oh, sorry."
yeah,
Yeah. That must
people,
have been better than a gold medal. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the whole experience is just really cool, and everyone's just super impressed. And I got so many messages from people that I've not heard from for so long, and yeah, it's just been a very cool experience, very surreal, um,
Awesome.
but also like, yeah, as I said before, I just hope it like proves to other people and can show other people that I am just a normal person that went to a state school up north, not from like loads of money or anything like that. You don't need loads of money. I just work. You don't need to start it early. I started at 21. Got to start at 20, well, 22. You just need to have like the mentality to like work hard at something, and you really can achieve it. And I hope that I prove that to people, and people will take on their passion as well and be like, actually, I can get to the top of that.
Awesome. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's a really good spot to end it, Georgie. Um, Thank you so much for finding the time. I know friggin' hell, it's 7:30, which is bedtime for a GB rolling. So or dinner
Yeah,
time
yeah.
and then bedtime shortly after. So yeah, I don't want to keep you any longer. Thank you so
No,
much
thank
for
you very
finding
much.
the time and being so open about your journey as well. And I know you'll certainly inspire some people, and you've given great insight into what, like your and motivation to people. So
No, cool. Thank you very much.
of course. So, alrighty, everybody, like and subscribe and all that stuff, and make sure you dislike the video for Georgie not sharing that session. And yeah, all the best.
Okay, see you later.
Cheers, bye,
Bye.
and
Bye.